pint-sized powerhouse, Rylan Charlton. Mate, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. How you doing?
Yeah, no, we're all good, thank you. And so me and Ben, actually, we discussed your last two previous fights, really, in the last few episodes. It's kind of an honor having you on, and we'd like to start with you talking about your previous fight against kind of Florian MARKU, and give us your thoughts on why maybe it didn't work out the way you'd hoped, I suppose.
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, it was a tough fight. The way it didn't work out was the fact the weight class is not my weight class. Like he's a lot bigger, stronger, and to be fair to him, he performed very well on the night. He done a good job, and yeah, I was running out of ideas. I know I was just coming at him, but it's kind of like my technique is just keep walking him down until normally about 5-6 rounds, the opponent's exhausted and feel like, oh shit, he's still on me. But yeah, he wasn't really tiring much, and so he's super fit. And yeah, just the weight as well. My punching power is my asset, but when you kind of put me up against someone heavier, my punching power is not strong enough, kind of thing. So yeah, he boxed very well, and he done a great job. So yeah, that's that.
When did you like sort of see that he was a lot bigger? Was it at the weigh-in, or when was the first time you sort of saw, he's quite big?
Yeah, it was the weigh-in. Yeah, like I thought that. I mean, I've never had to make weight. I didn't have to really make weight for that fight or the Laws fight. I just weighed in whatever. And obviously, I'd say like 95% of boxers have to make weight. But yeah, it was the weigh-in day, and there were some photos some people took, and we were both doing this, and I just looked tiny. I looked like a small frame and everything. I thought, shit, he's big. He's a proper welterweight kind of thing, and yeah, that's when I noticed it.
So going forward, then, talking about weight, is that so? You're not going to fight a welter then anymore? Is that it for you? You want to move down?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I want to fight 140 pounds is my weight. Because I mean, I walk around at about 147 pounds when I'm not super fit. So, I mean, I weighed in on the day of that fight at 10 stone 3. And it's just ridiculous. I mean, I could easily make 10 stone for like welterweight. So yeah, we're going to be doing that from now on.
How did you kind of adjust in the preparations, obviously boxing at that weight? Did you find that quite difficult, or did you settle into the weight quite easily?
Yeah, it was kind of difficult, especially with the guys sparring. I mean, I was sparring some guys, and they're like 6 foot, and they're welterweight, and I'm 5'7" at a push. But yeah, I found it kind of difficult because I was trying to build up a bit. I was eating quite a lot, and I'm trying to sort of. And then when I'm sparring, I'm carrying weight that I'm not used to, so I was feeling more exhausted here and there. So yeah, it was a funny camp. Wasn't the best camp I've had, so I'm making excuses now. But it was a camp where I was trying to build into a welterweight, and I got up to about 11 stone 2, and I was blown out my ass after a round.
I mean, one thing that I think everybody can say is it was all over Twitter, wasn't it? I mean, that fight was almost that was the fight everyone wanted to watch, you versus MARKU. And then when we watched that, I think every single person I've spoken to has walked away saying the braveness and toughness of you in that fight almost won everyone's hearts, even though you didn't get the victory. So it's not a win-win, obviously, because you don't want that loss in the record, but it probably must feel nice to get the kind of recognition you got to say, you one tough fucker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That was brilliant. Like, I don't know what it is with me. I feel like when I'm in that ring, I just won't stop. And I don't know what it is. I just keep coming forward, and I just keep doing my thing. But yeah, the amount of love I got from people, and yeah, like I said, it wasn't a win, but I feel like I won because I have got a massive bit more following from it, and like massive respect from everyone who's been messaging me. I had millions of messages, and I've tried to get through as many as I can. But yeah, it's been nice the amount of support I've had after that fight.
Was it quite frustrating, obviously, in there with MARKU doing a lot of talking during the fight? Because I mean, personally, from my point of view, I feel like that's just wrong in the ring, and you should leave the talking, to before, and then once you get in, crack on. Did it frustrate you quite a bit that he was talking in there?
Maybe it did. Yeah, I wasn't getting wound up by it. But yeah, that talking stuff, that it's just no need for it. Like he spoke enough throughout the the bubble week and stuff. And yeah, he was just, the ref should have really stopped that talking stuff. But I suppose Florian was the golden boy. But yeah, it didn't really, I don't think it wound me up. I think I was just in there focused, trying to do my job kind of thing. But it's kind of annoying the more I think about it now. It is.
And then I suppose pushing on to the end of that fight, you know, when your corner eventually threw the towel in, we've seen, you know, a few quite that happened recently. And were you happy they threw the towel in? Kind of as a fighter, I know you always want to go out on your shield, but what was your opinion on your corner?
No, I think it was the right move for my corner. I think I turned around. I was like, oh, "What's you that for?" I was thinking, "Thank fuck for that." It's been being beaten up for 8 rounds. So part of me, I was like, "Yeah, I was happy with it," but there's also that bit thinking I've just been stopped, which is a bummer. But it's all about my safety at the end of the day. And yeah, I think a few more rounds, I was outpointed. So I think I'd lost my power by that round. So by the 8th round. So yeah, I only would have won by a knockout, and I don't think that would have come. So yeah, I was pleased with the decision, really.
And obviously, you said, you know, mentioned maybe moving down. Has Eddie had any conversations with you now and sort of given you some sort of time scale as to when you're going to come back?
Yeah. He actually dropped me a message after the fight, which was nice of him, saying like, cracking fight, and we'll have you back hopefully summertime. He said something like that. And we'll go again at 140 pounds. So it's great. Yeah, he's still got Eddie Hearn backing me, and Matchroom backing me, which is brilliant. Yeah, so they can see I put on a good show, and I'm always in entertaining fights. And at the end of the day, it's the entertainment business. So yeah, he's happy with me, I think.
Is there any fights that you want at that kind of weight that you're looking out for, or you kind of just take what Eddie, I suppose, and the team kind of come to you with?
Yeah, I'm not a massive follower of boxing. I don't really know who's at my weight kind of thing. But yeah, I'll just let whoever Eddie wants to get me in with, we'll just go from there kind of thing.
And sort of like, speaking of maybe goals now, is there something you've got your eye on, like a certain belt, and what sort of, where would you like to leave the sport sort of at the end of it all?
I want to just learn as much as I possibly can in this game, get as good as I can, and brilliant to get the British title, and then just go as far as possible, really. I don't know where it can take me, but I think a British title I'd be happy with, and then we'll just go from there.
And Ben, me and you were touching upon this kind of, it's so difficult for fighters right now, during, I suppose, the pandemic as well. So I mean, how difficult is it, I suppose, having, you know, your sponsors is such an important part at the moment, but kind of not being able to get out regularly as a fighter? Kind of, is it difficult? Because I know you mentioned before you have a full-time job. So how do you balance those two, being a professional athlete and at the same time, you know, having a full-time job?
Well, the pandemic for me has been a bit of a blessing. Obviously, it's terrible, but it's been a blessing for my boxing, because I mean, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I probably wouldn't have got the Laws fight. Like, I've always just been on small hall shows, and then when it came to no crowds, they would need to make money via views and all that kind of stuff. So they had to have more 50-50 fights. So it's the pandemic's worked well for me, for my boxing. And work-wise, yeah, I'm a chef by trade, but the hospitality industry is screwed. But I ended up landing myself a job in a care home. So I'm doing not really chefing, it's cooking. It's not my extravagant food or anything, but it allows me also to train because it's easy hours. I'm not in restaurant hours where I'm finishing at like 1 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. I finish at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I can go and train. And yeah, so the pandemic's sort of like been pretty good for me.
That's great. Yeah, at least you can take a positive away from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Rylan, I wanted to take you back all the way now. Sorry, going quite far back, but just your amateur days and sort of how you fell into boxing. Because we like to ask all our guests where it all started. So where did it start for you?
Okay, so I used to sort of just pop down the boxing gym a little bit with a few of my friends, probably about five friends, and we used to go down there just for a laugh. I used to like fighting a lot as a kid. I was quite hyperactive, so I needed to burn off a lot of energy. So yeah, going down the gym for a bit, and then my friends kind of just sacked it off, and I just stuck at it. And I think 17, I had my first amateur fight. I had about 50 odd amateur fights, but I wasn't I know it sounds silly, but I was more of always a pro style. I was always just sat down on my shots, loaded up, right, trying to knock people out all the time. And in the amateur games, like 3 rounds, 3 minutes max, it just flick, flick, flick. And I wasn't ever that flicky. So I done all right though. I won more than half out of 50, I think 50 odd. I won about 36, 37, something like that. And yeah, I never took it too seriously. I just used to like to fight. So I'd, have a fight and then maybe I used to go traveling a lot when in my 20s, and I'd go off traveling for 6 months, come back, have about 5 or 6 fights in the boxing season, and go away again. And then I suddenly thought, I'm bored of getting punched in the head for free. I want to get paid for it. So yeah, then got my pro license. I think I was 25, I think.
It sounds like kind of for a boxer, kind of dream 20s, being able to travel and kind of building your amateur career at the same time. It seems like a nice little setup you had there, to be fair.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I'm glad I managed to. I maybe turned pro a bit late, but I'm glad I managed to kind of live my life first, because boxing has to be your life kind of thing if you're a professional. I'm glad I got to traveled quite a lot. But I sort of started getting bored of living out of a rucksack and ability kind of thing. And now it's nice. It looks like I'm living in a bit of a moment, because I've just moved into a house and in the middle of renovating it. So, but it's nice to actually have a base. Like when I was traveling a lot, I felt just all over the place. But now being professional, having a base is pretty good.
Where are you based, mate? So I probably should have done my research, but I'm assuming it's Norwich, or have you moved down to London?
Yeah, Norwich City, I'm based.
Interesting. Ben, we want to touch upon your kind of sparring, didn't we, Ben? We were talking about this before. So Rylan, you sparred with Conor Benn before your Joe Laws fight, was that correct? I heard about that. So talk to me about kind of some of your sparring experiences you've had in the pros.
Yeah, so I've actually been really lucky with sparring. My manager is good friends with Tony Sims, which he's a matchroom trainer, trains Conor Benn and all that. And I used to, I've been down there a lot. I've done a lot of rounds with Conor. Sparred Ricky Burns, Joe Cordina, Martin Ward. I sparred a lot down there. And Conor Benn's very good. The thing is about the Laws fight, I had one spar for that fight, and that was Conor Benn, one decent spar, because we only had 2 weeks notice, so we couldn't really get any sparring in.
No way.
So I had one, I think it was 6 rounds I've done with Conor before that fight. And after, I think quite a hard work kind of thing. And then I realised I've got to have a fight kind of, so I wasn't 100% fit. So I hadn't had a full camp. I've been ticking over, but Ben's good, very good. So I enjoy sparring him. We've had some very good rounds together.
Have you sparred David Avanesian at all? Have you been?
I have. Yeah, I have sparred him. He's an animal. He is. He's an absolute animal. He's very good. He's strong. I kind of knew that was going to be the outcome with Josh Kelly. He's just so solid, and we had a proper war together, and I probably played into his hands a little bit because I was just coming forward, and that was a tough spar. He's a great guy as well. I like him a lot.
So out of that division, I suppose you're a great person to ask because you've sparred so many of them. Out kind of the Florian Marku, obviously he's calling for Conor Benn, Avanesian. Who do you think kind of comes on top at the end of all of that after you spot your experience?
I'd say David Avanesian, I think. Yeah. I feel Conor Benn is he's getting better and better. He's such a good fighter, and he's improving so much. So I don't really know. Maybe it'll be a tough fight, them two, but I'd say Florian he'd get beaten by both of them, I think, personally.
Yeah, I know you didn't you don't really follow much boxing, which I find quite interesting. Personally, has that always been the case? Have you never watched it even growing up? Was it always just yourself and never watch?
I like watching it. If it's on, I'll watch it. But I'm not like people say to me about people my weight, and I've never heard of them. I don't follow that many. I follow a few matchroom boys and stuff, but I'm not. I'll watch boxing if it's on, but I don't keep up to date with who's championing, say British champion, European champion in my weight. I don't know any of that. No, I don't know why that is either. I feel like don't know. Maybe it's because I do it myself and I'm involved in it myself, and maybe that's why. I don't really know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because for me and Ben, like, we were talking, we kind of watch, from the kind of area titles all the way up, and it's quite refreshing to see kind of a fighter involved in boxing who like just is so dedicated to the sport and wants to kind of just go down their own path. I think it's kind of a really unique and quite refreshing.
Yeah.
But talking about that, I suppose I think everyone has an opinion on this. It's hard not to. What's your opinion on AJ Fury?
So I feel like I should probably be saying AJ because I'm a matchroom boy and all that. But well, you never know in heavyweight boxing, because one punch can change it all. I'm gonna say Tyson Fury because his boxing skill is great, and he's already been up against a big puncher with Wilder and stuff. So I feel like Joshua could do it because he has got good boxing skill as well. But I just think Fury will have it.
That's what most people are saying, isn't it? So
yeah, everyone we've had on, in fact.
Yeah,
we still haven't found an AJ man. We're waiting for one.
Yeah, he might surprise us all and just knock him out. You never know. In heavyweight,
beat the bookies.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Well, listen, Rylan, I think we've covered a fair bit there. We just wanted to say from us, look, we're looking forward so much to seeing what's next for you. Obviously, you showed immense bravery in your last 2 fights. We love your fighting style, and we can't wait to see what's next for you, mate. So best of luck.
Awesome. Thank you very much.